Good to see you.
No,
Not too serious.
you really stop there. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Good. Nice to see you. Nice. I have my electronic. This is like 200 pages.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Present.
Councilor Fascio,
Present.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Present.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Present.
Councilwoman Sapp is joining us by phone tonight. Deputy Mayor Pecora phoned me earlier in the day and said he won't be in attendance this evening. This evening, we have the pleasure of swearing in some of our new officers along with one of our canine officers. So at this time, if you wanted to come up and then you could call the officers forward and the mayor will administer the oath of office.
Good evening. Officer Barnes, Officer Chiramonte, Officer Draco, Officer Lore, and Officer Twidwell. This gives us 57 police officers in Penn Hills. And we have another addition who will come in for a few seconds, and then we will do the swearing in. This is Canine Officer Odin. The handler is Jason Bonace. Odin is a new addition. Officer Bonace's last dog had some medical issues, so we had to get him a new dog. He just started a few months ago.
May I use this mic? Please raise your right hand or paw. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the Home Rule Charter and the ordinances of the Municipality of Penn Hills. I also swear that I will uphold, obey, and enforce the law without consideration to a person's race, color, sex, religious creed, sexual orientation, age, national origin, ancestry, handicap, or disability. I will perform the duties of a police officer of the Municipality of Penn Hills, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, with honesty, integrity, and fidelity. So help me God.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate your service. It is our honor to have you here, and we respect and we will never understand the risks that you take. But thank you so much. It is our honor and privilege to be in your presence. So on behalf of the entire municipality of Penn Hills and council and the administration and everyone here this evening and those who could not be here, again, thank you so much for your service. May I get a motion for item number 4, approval of the minutes?
Mayor Calabrese?
Mayor
Yes, Council-
Calabrese?
Yes,
I'd
Councilwoman Sapp.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept and approve the minutes of June 26, 2023 council meeting.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
June 26 minutes approved.
May I get a motion for item number 5, ratification of expenditures?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to ratify expenditures in the amount of $1,521,980.32.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Expenses approved. Next on the agenda is the portion of the agenda dedicated to comment for those that signed up to speak to non-agenda items. They had to sign up at least a week in advance to speak to those items. So I'm going to call their names in the order that they signed up. Do bear in mind that there is a 3-minute time limit on your comments. Felicia Harvey does not appear to be in the audience this evening. Greg Swachek. And as always, Mr. Swachek, if you could please just state your address for the record.
Greg Swachek, 648 Gramick Lane. I just have a handout that can help explain what I'm going to verbalize. I think it would be helpful. That way you'll get the full context and information that I'm trying to convey.
Yeah, I mean, it's your 3 minutes, Greg. I mean,
At the top of this 18-page packet is the envelope that I got. I'm assuming the transformer's still working good in the other room. Sometimes it goes out at an inopportune time. This is a FOIA request that was processed by the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County. It deals with the Hindu temple project that the Penn Hills Planning Commission approved not too long ago. The third page in, you can blatantly see, to the doubt of no one, that by a sizable margin, the entire emergency exit labeled by the people that submitted the information is clearly in Penn Hills and also traverses into Wilkins. All through the application, the chairman of the temple referred to the project consistently and throughout numerous times as in Monroeville. The rest of this stuff is sort of self-explanatory. It's a partial, it's an excerpt of everything they sent me to make my point of potential fraud, malfeasance, misfeasance, illegalities of a variety of portions. I can't litigate that in 3 minutes, but you can read that for yourself. Part of the application says, does it impact zoning? Well, in Penn Hills, we have conservancy and residential zoning. Never went to the zoning hearing board. If it's a conditional use application, it has to go to council. There's no plans of that. I talked to Howard Davidson today, and he is puzzled as well. He's the planning director, retired, as you know. So I'd like to just run through these points very quick. The solicitor of Monroeville and Penn Hills is Craig Alexander of Bruce Dice and Associates. The submitted application for the Hindus Temple Emergency Access Road says Monroeville. The mayor attended the planning commission meeting and spoke privately with Liza King, who she appointed when the chairman, Chipinelli, called for a brief recess during the proceeding. That's kind of ex parte communication in my mind, or coaching, or whatever your imagination may lead, wherever it may lead you. The 8 conditions of the planning approval were not posted as usual for review, and cryptic in describing them to the people in the room who were from Princeton, Nike, Elwood, and Northern Pike, packed the room. They were very agitated. There was political upheaval. That's also part of the application. Does this affect anybody? They
Mr.
said no.
Swachek, the 3 minutes have now been exceeded, Mr. Swachek, and I need you to end your comments now.
Okay, I'll end them. That's
Thank
half
you.
of what I had here for the record.
Thank you. And I will review what you gave me. I will review that. Thank you.
Thank you. May I get a motion for item 7A?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brudnicki.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 2023-33 awarding the 2023 Penn Hills Mechanical Contract rebid to JP Environmental in the amount of $95,600 and alternate 2 for $119,500 in approving McRandall Company's standard rates.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Yes, Mayor Calabrese?
Yes, Councilman Sapp.
I was just wondering if we could just have a clearer understanding of what 7A is for our audience, please, and the listening audience as well. Thank you.
Yes, so the award to JP Environmental for the base bid, which was removing an existing digester pump, replacement of a 6-inch sludge well valve, scum valve, all kind of good sewage term valves, is the base bid. The alternate number 2 is, find that. Oh, it's the grinder pump at Long Road. So that's the alternate number 2. That's basically equipment replacement for old or malfunctioning equipment. And then the last item is McRandall Company. That is contract number B. And that is basically hourly rates for needing equipment installation throughout the year. So as other pieces of equipment, smaller dollar value pieces of equipment break, valves, and certain instruments that can't be replaced in-house, this contractor then could be utilized to come in and utilizing his current bid rates to come in and do that work. So that's always been a challenge for the facility to get labor rates, because sometimes the cost of this equipment installation, although it is needed quickly, it's not necessarily an emergency. So the idea of bidding the rates and utilizing, having a cap, but utilizing that labor to make replacements for parts and materials will be a much needed benefit and tool for the Water Pollution Control Department Director to get that work done and still meet all the bidding requirements.
Thank you so much, and for the record, that was Rick Minsterman from Gateway Engineers. Any further comment from council? I would just
No,
like to
thank you. I just want to say thank you for that explanation. It just sounds better when you explain it versus reading the verbiage here. It was a little bit confusing, so thank you for that explanation.
Thank you very much. Any further comment from council? I would just like to note that often you'll see these resolutions as we come here meeting after meeting. This is a public health issue, so we're being very conscientious with making sure that we have the system properly maintained and repaired. And I'm very, very pleased with, I see the director back there, and I'm very, very pleased. I think I speak on behalf of council as well. We're very pleased with the work that you're doing. Thank you so much, because this is something that is, you only see it in the breach. You only see it when it doesn't work. But you're doing a very fine job, and thank you so much, because as I say, this is a public health issue. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Resolution 33 approved.
May I get a motion for item 7B?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascia.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-34, approving a plan revision for new land development at 234 Lot Road, Beach Creek Demolition and Environmental Solutions.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Resolution 34 approved.
May I get a motion for item 7C?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion we approve Resolution 2023-35, awarding the Quigley and Emrose Storm Sewer Installation Project to Quincy Development Incorporated in an amount of $374,631.25.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Resolution 35 approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for item 8A?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascia.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the professional services agreement with HERA Property Registry, Inc. for vacant and foreclosed property registration services.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Yes, Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes, could the manager explain a little bit about this?
Sure, Councilman Brodnicki. A few years ago, Penn Hills approved an agreement with a company called ProChamps, and the purpose of that company was to register vacant and foreclosed upon properties. And so what the company basically does is, when a property goes into foreclosure, they send a notice to the owner, they get a contact owner, a contact person to cut the grass and so forth. A lot of the times these are banks. In addition to that, we're charging a biannual registration fee to all of those properties as well. We remit about $100 of that fee to ProChamps. The reason that we're looking at this agreement is the company that we had been doing business with in Florida filed for bankruptcy. And so it's not really clear how long they're going to be around. For Penn Hills, it's an actual revenue item. I think we get about $150,000 a year from the registration fees. So this company, Hera, is picking up where ProChamps left off. They're going to continue to do the same work that ProChamps did. It's another Florida company, but the people that are working with this company are the same ones that worked for the first one, so they know a little bit about Penn Hills. So it's basically a really good program that isn't really costing us anything. We get a little revenue from it to register the vacant properties, and then we have to only remit about $100 of that to this company. So it's a resource for our code office to do a better job at what they do.
So this is a way that we can make sure somebody somewhat maintains these vacant properties so they don't look like garbage.
Yeah, that's the goal of it. I mean, obviously, there's some properties that are just abandoned, and there's really, there's a record owner, but that person may be dead or what have you. So those properties are different. This is typically properties that are bank owned a lot of the times.
So it helps,
our staff, we don't necessarily have a way to just call a bank and get a contact person to tell them to cut the grass and so forth. So this company does a lot of that for us, and they're really good at getting in touch with the people that maintain the properties, and we actually get a lot of compliance through this service. When we entered into this as ProChamps about 5 years ago, we entered into it really with not knowing really what to expect. Other communities in Pennsylvania use the service as well, but we found it to be a pretty good value and service to Penn Hills Municipality. So we're hoping this new company does the same. Hopefully they don't, hopefully they're around for a while. So that's basically, that's why we're doing this. They're basically replacing a company that's going out of business.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further comment from council? I would like to say that I am ecstatic about this. We are the largest suburb in Western Pennsylvania. We're huge. We have so many houses, so many properties, and we have banks that come in, and banks are profiting from people who live there, and then they go into foreclosure, and they don't necessarily work with the homeowner. So this is really the fact that we're making revenue. That's fine. That's all well and good, but that's not my reason for being very happy about this. Because if you live next to a vacant property, it's very, very difficult, and it's difficult for our code enforcement officers to enforce the code. So I think it's fabulous that we're doing this, and hopefully that as we see the rise in this, that we will see, because as the manager said, we see compliance with this. And so, we're trying to beautify Penn Hills every which way we can, from littering to dumping to vacant properties. And this is another tool that we can use. And I think that this is, I'm very happy that we have this because this is going to help us be successful. Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp?
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes.
Councilor Fascio?
Yes.
Item 8A approved.
May I get a motion for items 8, B, and C?
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Kathy Rayborn and Rick Duncan to the Penn Hills Shade Tree Commission for a term ending July 16th, 2026.
Will you do C as well, please?
What was it?
I'm asking for 8A and B and C together because it's the same thing.
B and C. Oh, okay. Also, Sandy Feather to July 16th, 2025, and Tori DeJohn to July 16th, 2025.
Pardon me, yes. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any comment from the public?
Fred's watching 640 Granite Lane. I'd just like to say for all these people, they're doing a fantastic job along Rhode Island Road. What an improvement. And the little landscape job that they did with the old gas station at the bottom of Maple Lane. It's almost a calling. They find each other. They're improving Penn Hills. Anybody going by there sees it. It's just a beautiful thing. And I just found out today, and I may as well add this, I hope that Churchill doesn't ruin it with a sign that they can squeeze in this much space. They may have a fight on their hands, depending what they're proposing and where those boundary lines legally are. So I'd just like that in for the record. I think it would, it's just my opinion, but it could be an eyesore for their beautiful work. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Mayor Calabrese, I have a comment.
Yes,
I'd
Councilman.
like to say thank you so much to the Shade Tree Commission for volunteering your time to embellish our community. You could be doing so many other things, but you have taken an interest in making sure that our municipality is beautiful, and I just want to say thank you.
Any further comment from council?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to add my thanks. It's a wonderful group of people who've gathered, an even more wonderful group of volunteers. You're all an inspiration to us, so many, many thanks.
Any further comment from council?
Yeah, Mayor,
Yes, Councilman.
we've
Rubin.
all worked with these people here, and they do a great job. I mean, Penn Hills really help out. Things look a lot nicer because of them. And it's hard to express my feelings toward that. They really do a great job.
Thank you. For people who don't come to these meetings, or if it's your first time or you're watching this online, it might seem very odd that they say Mayor Calabrese, and I say, yes, Councilman Brodnicki, and it seems very formal and very stiff. But we're doing that because we're making a record. So we have to, those of us up here, we know who we are. But for when people come and take a look at this in months or years to come, that's why we are so formal, and that's why we keep saying the names so that everybody knows who we are. But I just want to say these names again because we know who they are, but the public, you only see their work, the results of their work, but you don't know who they are. And Kathy Rayborn is she's the president of the head of the Shade Tree Commission. We have Rick Duncan, Sandy Feather, Tori DeJohn, and there are other members. These are just the ones that are up for reappointment. When you go down Allegheny River Boulevard, or you go to Penn Hills Park, or you find out about the front yard tree project. I grew up in the city, and I thought that trees just popped up. I didn't know that people, could intentionally do these sorts of things. So for a city girl to come out here and learn this, and they teach me so much all the time, and I can tell you very much, I know Councilwoman Sapp's on the phone. She's not with us, but she's very supportive of the efforts. I look down here, I see Councilor Fascio and Councilman Mark Brodnicki. I mean, literally, we're digging in the dirt with them, and it is our pleasure to be doing that with you, and for you to let us do that, because I think except for Joanne, we probably don't know what we're doing. But the reality is it's so much more than just planting a tree. Because so for example, the Rhode Island Road project right now, that's our front door. And, I say this often, we don't all live under the same roof, but we all call Penn Hills home. So thank you so much for making our front door beautiful, because otherwise, it's for our residents and for our children and for our visitors and for people to come here. And thank you so much for helping with all the other projects. Because when your surroundings are beautiful, those are the things really, and people don't think about it, but subconsciously, that lets us know and that lets other people know, this is our home. Don't litter here, don't dump here, don't speed here, don't commit crime here. This is our home. And people always talk about the children. Well, this is our legacy for our children too. So without much further ado, it doesn't seem enough to say thank you, but that's all we have is to say thank you. And we know, and I want the world to know, you're volunteers and you're getting reappointed to do this again for no pay. So thank you very, very much for all of your efforts and the results. It's beautiful to see what you have been doing and what you continue to do. Thank you so much. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Absolutely yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations.
We are now at council comments. Any comments, Councilwoman Sapp?
Yes, Mayor, I do have a comment. I just want to say, again, thank you to the Shade Tree Commission team. I also want to congratulate our new officers and welcome them to Penn Hills, and just want to say I'm looking forward to them doing a great job, and just to remind them to stay safe. Also, I'd like to just make the announcement that on our next two meetings, August 14th and August 21st, I will not be in Chambers. I will be taking my daughter away for college. She is going out of state, so I will miss those meetings, but I will be on the phone. And thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening.
Thank you. Councilor Fascio, any comments?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention that this morning I had the privilege of attending the National EMS Memorial Service, a program that's traveling the nation to commemorate EMS providers who've died in the line of duty. In 2022, there were 59, including one of our own, Nick Theolopoulos, and he was honored this morning. It was a beautiful but very sobering experience. Chief Como was there, Diane Fitzhenry, and a lot of her staff, and a multitude of EMS providers from the area. It's kind of ironic, coupled with the installation of the new police officers today. Public service is difficult. Public safety is a road I never could travel. And seeing the fresh faces tonight of our new officers filled with optimism and energy, and contrasting that with this morning's experience where you just can't say enough for those who've fallen in service. So I believe this was their last stop, and they're on their way to DC this weekend. There's a large event planned in Washington, D.C. And I just wanted to mention Nick and the other 58 that I don't think I think about often enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Brodnicki.
I just want to congratulate our new police officers. I know whenever they drop off the packet before our meetings, I try to tell them, stay safe, because that's the number one thing. I want to congratulate our new, or not new, but returning Shade Tree Commission people. They do an excellent job. And then last week, I attended a meeting with Chris about the trail from Verona to Boyce Park, and it is progressing slowly, but it is making headway. There was excellent turnout here, and it's very exciting. And that's it.
Thank you, and thank you, Councilor Fascio, for representing us today at the memorial. You know, it's so wonderful to look out and see these young people here. Everybody in the audience is beautiful, but you should see what I get to see. They have to look at this, so I get to look at that. So beautiful. And Councilwoman Sapp was saying that she's taking her daughter off to college, so she won't be here for the next meeting. And I've had the privilege to become very good friends with Councilwoman Sapp and her family, and I got to watch her daughter grow. And I will say that I wrote a letter of recommendation for her, and I was very proud to do that. I'm very, very proud anytime I get to write a letter on behalf of any of the children from Penn Hills. We are so large, but there's a real sense of community here. So you watch us up here, and again, it seems so formal and formalistic, but the reality is there's a real love of Penn Hills, and you can see it through the volunteerism, through the risks that people take, through what they're doing. All of this dovetails from public service to public safety to public health. All of these, each of you might look at it in an individual, in a vacuum, but it's not. It all comes together. So whether or not it's from the police officers that we inducted tonight, which is the second class, and I'm very proud to say that we have, we had another induction earlier this year. We have the most diverse group of police officers since I've lived in Penn Hills. And we have the Shade Tree Commission, which we've already discussed a bit of that. I'm very, very excited about, and I think everybody here is excited about the press conference that we just had. I can tell you that in January of 2020, I was sworn in as mayor. I got an invitation to the White House. Every woman mayor who was elected at that time got to go to the White House. We went as a group. I wasn't allowed to take a guest. We had to be, have certain clearances and so forth. So I was dropped off at the entrance to the White House, and we went through security. And the room was only about this size. And it was so powerful to see the room filled with women mayors from all over the country. All over the country. They came from California, Hawaii. I mean, I was able to drive there, but there were women mayors who had to fly there. It was so powerful to be there. We met the Secretary of Transportation. We met the Vice President. And we were told, look, we don't know what you need. We have federal money available, but we don't know what you need unless you tell us. So it was a really intimate group, and I got to meet the Secretary of Transportation, and I bet for $1 million she couldn't pick me out of a lineup if I was the only one in it. But the reality is they listened. And back then, one of the things that we said was, if you take a look at Penn Hills, one of the greatest things about us is our location. You can be anywhere in 20 minutes. If you go in one direction, you can be in the city in 20 minutes. If you go in the other direction, you can hit the turnpike. It's really beautiful. It's a great location. But we take a look at Rodi Road, and that's our first entrance. So a few years ago, along with members of the Shade Tree Commission and members of council, we walked Rodi Road and said, what could we do? So we had a dream, we just didn't have money. But you at least have to set a goal, because they say if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So we had a goal to try to improve Rodi Road to the best that we could. Rodi Road is a state road, it's not a municipal road, so we're not allowed to touch the road itself. However, we talked about ways to improve it. I was in my hotel room in Washington, D.C., my phone rang, and it was the Allegheny County executive. He said, Pauline, congratulations on your win. This was in 2020. Fast forward, it was a Friday afternoon, and there was the infrastructure bill that was coming down. I got a call from then United States Congressman Connor Lamb. He said, I'm sitting in traffic right now, getting ready to get on the Beltway, and I have to tell you, Penn Hills was awarded $800,000 for Rodi Road. Last week, United States Congressman Chris DeLuzio appeared in Penn Hills to give us the check for that money. So it takes time for these projects to come to fruition. It takes the funds. So now we had the idea, we had the plan, now we have the money. It's going to take a while for it to get into place. But as we beautify Rodi Road, that's step one, right? And so we keep going, and we're going to continue. We have to start somewhere. So in November, the Shade Tree Commission planted 13 trees. We have another set at the other end of Rodi Road to come in the fall. The garden is coming in with the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy. We got a grant from Tree Vitalize Pittsburgh. We spoke with engineers from Duquesne Light to improve the lighting on Rodi Road. That's going to start at Rodi Road, and it's already trickled down to Frankstown Road. It may take 4 to 5 years, but every street light in Penn Hills and every street in Penn Hills, for the safety of our children, for the safety of our residents, everything should be properly and well lighted. So we're starting there and we're branching out. I see Rick Duncan here for the Allegheny River Boulevard, Halton Road. We need to move to Grand Boulevard, each of our entranceways. So it's very exciting to see that we got the $800,000. We will make a match of $200,000. That's $1 million that will be put into Rodi Road to beautify it and to make it safe and to make it accessible. At either end of Rodi Road right now, the signals are now accessible. We have seniors coming down. If you take a look at where Jefferson and Universal Road meet, the senior center and a senior high-rise is there. You will see people that are seniors who are walking on Rodi Road. You'll see people who are using wheelchairs and other devices. The goal is, we've already started sidewalks up at the senior center, at the Morrow Barn. That's a completion. That's not part of that federal money, but the federal money that's coming in. So eventually we will complete what we call the broken teeth, where the sidewalks need replaced, repaired, or installed. We're doing a little bit at a time, but we're doing it. So I think this is probably the best time in history to be living in Penn Hills, and it's so exciting. And I thank each and every one of you who have any part of this, whether or not you're volunteering your time, your talent, or just supporting us, supporting everybody in Penn Hills. And again, I can't say enough how beautiful it is to see young people here and to see all the volunteers that we have and our staff, our administration, because we have a professional staff. You do not get that kind of money, that amount of grant money, unless you can prove that you have the ability to spend it and to spend it wisely. So on behalf of everyone here tonight, I would like to say thank you to everyone, and once again, congratulations to the officers. Have a very good evening, and we hope to see you at the next meeting. This meeting's adjourned.